Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to can pineapple. I found a bunch of pineapples on sale at Walmart. I haven't seen them on sale for a while, so I grabbed a bunch of them, and I tried to find some last year to can, and I didn't get any cans, so I had to buy some canned ones, but I prefer the home canning because they taste much better. But I'm going to show you everything you need and how to get started. So I have 8 pineapples here. I'm probably going to have extra left over that I'm going to have to can again because I only have 8 pint jars. Now I am using the wide mouth for these, but I'm going to cut half of these and I'm going to use the spiral so I can have spiral slices, and then the rest of them I'm going to do chunks. Remember to have your jars cleaned and put them in water, and I'm going to get this to where they're almost boiling but not boiling. I actually have 9 in here, and I'm going to make a simple syrup for the pineapple. I have 10 cups of water in here. I have 6 cups of sugar. I'm going to dump this in, get it to start dissolving, and I'm going to let it barely simmer for about 10 minutes. Okay, so I dumped the sugar in, 6 cups of sugar, 10 cups of filtered water. I use filtered because my county water is disgusting. But 10 cups water, 6 cups sugar, and I'm going to stir until it's dissolved and put it on a low heat. And then once it, before it starts to simmer, I'm going to let it stay there for 10 minutes. And remember to have your canning station ready wherever you're going to put it, and have all your lids and your bands. I wash these all, and I have water so I can put them on there. Put the water in there to sanitize it right before I put them on. Just have everything ready for when you're ready to start canning, so you're not rushing around trying to do it later. So this is how you use this. You line up the core with the middle, push down, and then you start twisting. You'll feel it when it gets to the bottom. And then you slowly there you go. And then there's a release button on here to pull this top part off so that you can just tip it over. There you go. So this will do about 1.5 pint jars. And I'll probably take about half of this because you're going to leave a 1/2 inch head space in the jar. Alright, for the rest of them that are going to have chunks, you need to remove all of the little eyes on the pineapple, but I use a strawberry core because it works amazing. And it's really easy, but you just need to go around all the pineapple, take out any bad spots that you see, and remove any eyes left on there before you cut it up, and then you have to take the core out. See? Really easy. Alright, I have all my pineapple chopped up. I got my cubes and then also my rings. Now, I just chopped up all the pineapples because whatever I don't use canning today will be eaten, so it's not a big deal. You can see how they turned out. Now my water is almost boiling. This is my syrup, which is done. And then my water on the back for my lids. which I'm going to take off, and it's done. And I'm going to pour it in for my lids and my rings. Let those sit for a minute, and then I'll show you how I start putting them in the jars. Alright, just took out 3 jars to start with. Make sure you leave them in the hot water until you're ready. I'm going to do the rings first. Now this is wider than the jar is. This is why I use the wide mouth jars. But you can squeeze them in there and push them all the way down. All the way down in there. Some of them will break. It's alright. It's not a big deal. Make sure you use your hand to push them all the way down in there. Remember, you need to have a 1/2 inch headspace on your pineapple and also on your syrup. And the 1/2 inch headspace usually starts about at the second ring right here is where it starts. So that if you want to use this as a guide, this can be your 1/2 inch headspace if you don't have a headspace tool. And for the chunk pineapple, now I do them in bigger chunks because they're going to be cooked down in your canner. So I don't like when they get really, really soggy. So these are ripe, but they're not overripe. So I want them to have some type of form, but just push it down, just like I did these. See, I'm pushing it all the way down. I'll probably push it down here in a second again to try to fill all the gaps in here. And the same with this. Now I'm going to use the end of this spatula, and I'm just going to move it around just to make sure I get liquid down there when I start pouring it in, okay? Because it's going to have bubbles in it, and you're going to have air pockets, and we don't want that. So once that's done, get your syrup. Go slow because it's got to seep in. And fill your jars to about 1/2 inch headspace, and then I would wait just like a minute for it to settle in. And you can tap your jar a little bit if you want to try to get it down in there, or use something. I don't have a debubbler, so to push that to the side to make sure the juice fills all of the crevices, okay? Once you have it all in there, and double check your headspace, because if not, these will siphon out, okay? So check your headspace and get a rag with some hot water on it and wipe your rims, because it's going to be sticky because this is a syrup. Wipe your rims really good, and then put these back in the canner. Once you put the lids and the rings back on, put them back in the canner and get more out and keep going. Okay, when you put your bands on, remember, fingertip tight. Just when you start putting the band on and then it shows resistance, then stop, because it's got to be able to breathe. Remember, if you're doing chunks or anything else, you see all the bubbles coming up, use something to debubble your jar. Push to the side and go around the jar, and then you can tap it some. Make sure you don't have any huge bubbles. If you do, try to get them out of there, okay? Alright, so I got all 9 jars in here. You're going to process the pints at 15 minutes once this comes to a rolling boil, and then if you do quarts, you need to do 20 minutes. So I'm going to turn this up all the way high, put the lid on, and after after this starts to get to a rolling boil, then we'll put on our timer. I already put the timer on, but I'm going to show you what the boil looks like. That's what it needs to look like boiling before you set your timer. Okay, the timer went off, so what you need to do is just turn it off and let them sit there for 5 minutes. Alright guys, I took off all my bands. Check all your seals. Tug on them, give them a good tug. They shouldn't come off if you did it right. Wipe down all your jars. If there was any syrup left over, but remember, check all of them and then store them, write the date, and store them in a cool, dry place. Alright guys, so remember, after you take the bands off, check the seals, tug on it. Remember, it shouldn't come off if it was processed correctly. Remember, pints you do for 15, quarts you do for 20, and store them somewhere cool and in the dark. They'll last longer, but I'll see you guys next time.